Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So I want to go ahead and film this video. I always say that they're quick, but they end up not being, because I want to make sure that you guys get all the information that you need. I just gave baby girl Ava lunch. She had broccoli. We're doing finger foods. She's 7 months. So instead of it like baby-led weaning, we did like pureed foods, and I've noticed that she's been taking to like the foods that I've been eating at the table. So Thanksgiving and Christmas, I would feed her like butternut squash that we had, and she loved it. I guess she likes the seasoning and stuff like that, but it doesn't hurt her. She didn't have a bad reaction to it. I did make sure that I gave her like pre-foods before I would actually give her like table foods. Yes. So like for instance, I gave her apples, like grapes, blueberries, you know, the small things that you test out for 3 days straight just to make sure that your baby's not allergic. So getting right into it, I want to film this video for all the ladies that asked about me uploading the thrush video. So I definitely want to try to get as much information that I can out to you. She's about to go down for a nap in about like 10-15 minutes, so I'm gonna try to get it out to you as thorough as I can. Excuse my shirt, of course we just had lunch and I didn't have time to like change or get all fancy for you guys, but let's jump right into it. Okay, so I have my book that I wrote down because I received my last comment last night, and I wanted to shout you out. Thank you for following me, and I wanted to just jot everything down just to make sure that I am touching on everything that I want to touch on, and to make sure that I'm not missing anything. If you have additional questions, comment below and I'll answer them as I can. So thrush, what is thrush? Thrush is actually a fungal infection for babies. Thrush is a fungal infection of the mouth. It affects the inside of their mouth. It affects the bottom part. It affects the top. Affects the sides, both sides. And then you'll also see like a very white layer of coating on their tongue. It may look like milk residue, but if you try to wipe it with like a baby washcloth or toothbrush, anything like that, it will not come off. So that's how you will know the difference between thrush and milk residue. So thrush, like I said, it's gonna be a fungal infection of the mouth. It's gonna be actually called like candida. Candida is what you refer to as the twin sister of yeast. So it's actually a yeast infection of the mouth, and it is simple but just irritating to treat. Ava actually, when I gave birth to her, she had I had a high temperature, so after I gave birth to her, they took her right to NICU, and because she was in NICU, they had to drug her with antibiotics. I'm sorry, am I boring you? They had to drug her with antibiotics, and those antibiotics, and also they gave me antibiotics. So it's like I had antibiotics maybe like 4 times a day for 2 to 3 days. 2 days that I was in the hospital, and she also had the same amount for the time that we were in the hospital. She was in NICU the entire time, so I didn't get to see her. I had to go, well, I got to see her, but I had to go to NICU to see her. And feed her, breastfeed her, because I didn't want her to have formula. It's a whole nother story. Okay, so because of the antibiotics, what antibiotics do is actually they kill the good and the bad bacteria. The only problem is that some people don't know that you have to put yourself on a probiotic in order to keep and restore the good bacteria. If you only take antibiotics, it will kill the good and the bad bacteria, and therefore you're prone to things happening in your body. for baby girl, when we got home, I noticed within a couple days that, you know, probably maybe 2 weeks, I'll say, that she was getting like little white patches here. It started here. I looked in the mouth and it wasn't there. The next 24 hours, I saw more, and we, you know, scheduled a doctor's appointment. They confirmed that it was thrush. As far as the candida, or I'll say yeast infection, aka thrush, I immediately started panicking. I was like, oh my gosh, because my 10-year-old never had it. But then I realized, like, okay, I breastfed my 10-year-old, but at the same time, I stopped at 6 weeks, and she was, you know, I breastfeed Ava. So it was kind of confusing to me. But once she had her doctor's appointment, I was told that what I can do is actually go get a topical for me for my breasts. And I have to make sure that I am treated, because if I try to treat her, not treat myself, we'll just be passing it back and forth to each other. And what I want to say honestly is that it's very difficult and very irritating to treat thrush. And I say this because she has had thrush in the past, like since she's been 6 months. She's 7 months now, nothing. But 6 months and, you know, from newborn to 6 months, she's had thrush 3 times. And that's a lot, because the times that she had thrush, the 2 times that she had thrush, it lasted for, I want to say, 2 to 3 weeks. So that's a very long time dealing with it, looking at it, thinking that your baby is like in pain, but I didn't notice any pain from her. She wasn't crying from it. I think it's just something that is kind of irritating in the mouth. Like if you have something stuck to the side of your cheek, inside of your mouth, you're gonna want to scratch it. And I think that's actually what it feels like. Her doctor told me that it's not painful to them. So I was like, okay, you know, I didn't notice that she was crying because of it. It just kind of freaks me out more than I guess her. So the best way that I was told to actually go and treat it was to get an antifungal, and they recommend Lotrimin, which is actually a athlete's foot, or I guess, I don't know if can women get athlete's foot? I have no idea. But it's like an athlete's foot topical, and you can buy it at like Target, Walmart. So I went and got it, and what you do is actually put it on your boob. And you put it on there after they feed, and you make sure it's wiped off before they feed. The only problem with this is that you have to wipe it off. So you definitely need to make sure that if you try this method, and no, everything that I'm saying you can absolutely try. It may work for you, but it didn't work for me. If you try this method, then it kind of scares me, because it's like you have to wipe it off, and it's for athletes, for people that have athletes foot. So that kind of scared me, because it's like you absolutely have like your, you know, your ducts and stuff in your boobs, and it's like, you put it on there, does it seep in there, does the baby actually get it in their mouth? So I was just like, you know what, I'm not doing that. I went to my OBGYN, the people that delivered me, and they automatically gave me a prescription for oh my gosh, I forgot what it's called. I'm gonna try to put it in the description box below when I remember what it's called. But it's like a 14-day, they give you it for 1 week and then another week. So apparently by the end of the first week, it'll be gone, but you need to keep treating yourself for a second week so that you make sure it doesn't come back. It definitely came back. So I started researching, and I was trying to figure out like why do we have this? It keeps coming back. It seems like it's more painful for me. I'm sorry, what's wrong? It seems like it's more painful for me than it actually is for her, because my boobs were hurting. It's like every time that she would latch on, it would be so super uncomfortable. So you definitely want to make sure that you get coconut oil to put on your boob before your child, your baby latches on if you're breastfeeding exclusively, because that's going to help with the pain. You are going to feel it's very painful. It's very painful. More painful than the actual initial latch of your baby breastfeeding. So you want to get coconut oil, and coconut oil is actually the top, I guess, oil that actually can treat candida. You can treat candida with coconut oil. So it's safe for your baby. It's not something that you actually want to like just put in your baby's mouth, but it's safe for your baby, and it helps soothe you. So get coconut oil. If you want to try the antifungal, do, but definitely make sure it's completely wiped off before you feed your baby. The next thing that I have is probiotics. Probiotics is something that I actually talked about in my previous video, which is the breastfeeding success tips, and I will put a link for that video in the description box also. Probiotics, mom wants to get on probiotics. I can't talk today. And baby needs probiotics. So the probiotics that I actually used, and I noticed that this helped me the second time because it went away in 2 days. Instead of it lasting, it went away, in like 2 days. But then we actually had more episodes of thrush then, because I remember trying it once and it was a shorter period. So I guess we had thrush about 4 times. I don't know, it's been so much. I've been to and from the doctor. I was just like, whatever. So probiotics. The probiotics that I took, like I said, it's in my previous video. I'll link that below. And then I got probiotics. She's trying to get the camera. Then I got probiotics for her, and I got them. I also had them in the previous video too. They are by Bliss, and they're probiotic drops. If you do not have a Bliss where you're located, it's called Mommy's Bliss, the brand, then you want to make sure that you get a probiotic, and that is with the Lactobacillus rhamnosus GG. Lactobacillus rhamnosus GG. And I'll put that in the description below on how it's spelled and everything. That is going to be the probiotic that actually does kill candida or yeast. That's going to get you off of the thrush as soon as possible. For us, we had a system, and I'll tell you at the end of the video what we did exactly. But the Lactobacillus ramos, how do you even say it? Rhamnosus GG is what is actually found in yogurt. So you know that women were supposed to be eating yogurt to prevent and stop yeast infections. Oh, she's trying to undress me. So that's important. The nystatin. The nystatin is something that was prescribed the very first time and the second time that I had the yeast, and she had yeast within her mouth as well. So nystatin, they give you 2 forms. They'll give you the oral form, and that's like a big old bottle of sugar pretty much. And then they also give you this kind. This is the diaper cream. This is the the diaper cream kind. So you want to also make sure that when you're putting your solution in the mouth, that it's also going on the diaper area, because when they are, having their digestion, things like that, they can get a very, very, very bad diaper rash. And it looks like bumps, looks like pimples. It's thrush. So I mixed this with this, and like I said, this is also my previous video. I will link below. So I want to get to, it's kind of a long video, I'm sorry, but I want to make sure that you guys have all the information. So as far as what I used the last, so the third time and the last time, what I used to make it go away is this. I actually had a mixture, and I used grapefruit seed extract, and I got this from my local vitamin shop. I mixed this, 20 drops of this with distilled water, and I put it like in a little water bottle. And what I take is a little Q-tip, and I go in there. Once it's shaken up, I go in there and I swab the insides of her mouth. And I do that maybe every 2 hours. Every single time that she has the thrush, it's gone. It's gone at that 48-hour mark. It may not even take 24 hours. But I noticed when I did this, it was gone completely. Mind you, I was still putting this and this on her butt because I just wanted to make sure. It's the grapefruit actually also is another treatment, just like coconut oil, to get rid of candida, thrush, yeast. So I did that. I made a little concoction. Like I said, it was gone super fast. So you want to get this, and you want to get some distilled water, and you want to also get you some Q-tips. That's going to be your solution and your cure for thrush. So I talked about, so like I said, can it come back? Yes, it can come back, but this solution is going to shorten the amount of time that you actually have it. It can come back for the time the baby is up to 6 months, if you have a normal healthy baby. After that, if it comes back, you want to make sure that you're cutting back on your sugar intake, because if you're breastfeeding and you're having too much sugar, that affects also. Also, if you're a person that is prone to yeast infections before you had a baby or while you were pregnant, you are susceptible to actually getting thrush for you and your baby when you're breastfeeding. So you want to make sure that you're calming down your sugar intakes, or have some alternatives. I know that I started Googling, like, because I love coffee, I started Googling, you know, sugar-free coffees, sugar-free creamers, sugar-free sugar, like sugar alternatives, because I just love coffee. It's something I have to have every single day. So I was able to make that adjustment, and I don't even notice it. Are you throwing yourself back? Stop being spicy. Let's see. So yeah, you want to lower your sugar intake or completely eliminate sugar from your diet while you're breastfeeding. It might be very, very difficult, but at the same time, you're thinking about your baby, and it's worth it, honestly. And I think that is it. So yeah, as far as treating it, you can definitely treat it very, very quickly. For some reason, I don't know why. I kind of know why doctors prescribe the nystatin, even though it has partly half of it is actually sugar. It tells you to squirt, like, I think 1 milliliter per cheek down to let baby swallow it. But if you do the nystatin, honestly, you just do the same thing. Just take a Q-tip and put it in the cheeks, lower lip, upper lip, and that should be enough. And you'll notice that the baby does not need to actually swallow the nystatin, the oral nystatin, in order for it to be treated. It just needs to get on there, because the nystatin has sugar in it, and you don't want the baby to swallow it and then just get more and more yeast, because I noticed that that was what was happening with her. So I hope I got you guys more information on the thrush. I hope I covered everything for you guys. Just a quick review. Antifungal, you can get the Lotrimin athlete's foot, and rub that on your boobs. Make sure it's completely off before you feed baby or before you pump. The apple cider vinegar, did I talk about that? Oh my gosh. Apple cider vinegar, you can wipe on your nipples, and you want to do that after you feed the baby, and that's going to kill the sugars. Sugar is what like the yeast candida thrives on. So the whole purpose is to kill the sugars so that the candida cannot thrive. Anytime that you have like you're pumping stuff on and it it touches your clothes or something like that, you want to immediately take it off if it's wet. You need to wash your clothes. Also make sure that you're, sterilizing toys and things like that so that you're not reinfecting yourself and baby. I'm sorry, this is like a 20-minute video, I'm sorry. Coconut oil for your boob, probiotics for you and baby, distilled water, and grapefruit seed extract, about 20 drops, and 1 ounce of water, of the distilled water. The nystatin, you can get that, and use it, see if it works. If it doesn't, the distilled water and the grapefruit seed extract, it will be your savior. And yeah, I think that is actually it. Now for, hopefully, like I said, I hope I covered all the information that you guys needed. Thank you so much for your suggestions. Welcome my new subscribers. I love you guys. Anything else that you want me to touch on, if it involves thrush, yeast, whatever, you can comment it below and I will answer you back. Hopefully I won't have to film another video. I want to make sure that you guys have all the information that you need, because it was super difficult for me trying to transition, having a baby 10 years later, and breastfeeding. I just went through a whole lot. I had clogged ducts and thrush at the same time, so it was super difficult. And it's like you notice that a lot of doctors and like urgent cares are not educated on thrush. If you need them in the middle of the night, you have to wait until your doctor opens. So I just want to make sure that you guys have all the information you need. If you have questions, like I said, on the clogged ducts, she's standing up. Oh, uh-oh. You stood up, Duty. If you have questions, like I said, comment below, and I will also put the videos and the name of the actual pill form that I took that my OBGYN gave me in the description as well. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.